people time to get on. Hello, Merry Christmas, everybody. Susan and I are coming to you from our mom and dad's kitchen in South Carolina. So we're together for the holiday, and we wanted to share a video with you guys. It's not often that we get to cook together. We did some this summer, so we always have a really good time. So we wanted to share a recipe with you that's super special to our family. And I'm waiting on, I wanted to, before we get started, to get some more people on here. But, okay, our guest speaker is walking away for a moment. He said he'd be right back. So anyway, but we're going to make for you today a sausage cake. And I put that in our description to share with you that it's an old-fashioned cake. And some of you might be thinking, a sausage cake? So, you know, it is an acquired taste. And it's one that my dad loves. And he looks forward to us making this for him every Christmas. So Susan and I are here to get it done today.
So this sausage cake is a cake that dates back to the early 1900s. My granddad, his name was J.C. Dalton. He was born in 1905. And his mom made him this cake once a year for Christmas. And it was like a Christmas present for them. Way back in West Virginia, and what they call the holler. So anyway, and when my dad started dating my mom, I'd rather him tell you the story. Come here, Dad. Hey, come on in here, Dad.
Our special speaker today is our dad.
This is our dad. So, Daddy, tell them the story about how you first ate your sausage cake. Make it quick.
Well, my first sausage cake, my father-in-law, that he's the one come up with the recipe, and I was just a young man. And he fixed up one, and I thought that was the best cake that I've ever ate. I got the recipe. These two daughters of mine here, they're going to fix me up one here, and that I'm going to enjoy it.
We love you, Daddy.
We love you.
I love y'all too.
All right.
Now.
Okay, now you can go back to
So now he can go back to watching his
football game.
And and we are going to make him his sausage cake. Now, the story that Daddy told me was that when he first met Mom, he had walked in and met Mr. Dalton, which is our granddad, and he said, "Carlton, do you like cake?" And Daddy said, "Yes, I like cake a lot." And he said, "I'm going to make you a cake that you're going to love." And this is the cake that he made. And Daddy said that was his first time ever having a sausage cake. And he has loved it ever since. So now we are going to make that from our granddad. And we actually have the recipe that our granddad had wrote, that his mom had given him when he was a boy. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and we are going to start cooking. So you're going to go back and watch your ball game? You're going to hang out with us?
Happy New Year.
Oh, we love Daddy. Okay.
All right, go watch your game.
Go watch your game. We're going to bake you a cake. Okay.
Okay.
Jennifer, you want to pull up your recipe?
Yes. So,
we'll have Daddy back in here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Y'all, he is a special man. And, you know, our mom passed away in 2016. And we miss her so much. And, you know, being in her kitchen and cooking in her kitchen just brings back the memories of us growing up and cooking with Mom. And even though she's not here, she's here. So she talks to us all the time, and we can feel her. So, and she'll tell us when we're doing something wrong. So, and she'll try to straighten us out. Yes. So, I hope you enjoy this recipe, y'all, and you make sure you try it.
So, I have a recipe I'm going to show you. I'm going to post it on Facebook. but it's not very often, you know, that you get recipes that are written or handwritten by people in your family. Now, my grandfather, Jesse, passed away when I was a baby, so I never met him. I never knew him. And but I've heard stories about him. Susan knew him because she's older than me, if y'all didn't know. And so anyway, but I never knew him, but I've heard a lot of stories about him. But a couple of things that I've gotten from him, because he liked to whittle, is I've gotten a rolling pin that he whittled out of wood, and he made my mom one and my grandma one, and I have one of those. And this here, I'm going to show you from phone to phone, is a recipe. This is his handwritten recipe. Now, you notice, you know, it's very old, and it's there's no directions on this recipe, y'all. None. It just has the ingredients, but it's in his own handwriting. And I have it framed at my house in my kitchen. So one of the things that I'm going to do is post this recipe, and we'll also write out the directions for you in the description, so that way you can have it if you want to try it. And I'll also, while Susan's getting things together here, give you a word of caution too about this recipe, because we've been researching it for years, and the way that we make it and the ingredients that my grandfather used is not anything that we've seen online. Nothing. Like, we're like, this is not the same cake. Like, I've seen some stuff with onions and peppers and more like a savory breakfast kind of thing when you put in sausage cake. This is like totally different. Yep. This is a cake.
And this actually, we believe, originated from Germany.
Yes.
And my granddad actually told my dad that it was from Germany, and that his mom had started making it. And whether her mom made it for her or not, we don't really know. But we do know that our great-grandmother had made it for my granddad. Yes. So, y'all, this is very different. A lot of people put coffee in this cake. Yes. This has no coffee. Yes. So just watch. All you need to do is just watch. Because it's different, but it is delicious.
It is good.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
right.
So we're going to start today.
So we now have 1 pound of raw sausage in here. I use hot sausage in there. And then, pull up your recipe, Jennifer. And then we're going to have, we've got 1 cup of raisins and 1 cup of walnuts. Mm-hmm. These are my raisins and my walnuts right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pour them in my bowl. So just like that. And then we have 1 cup of gum candy. Gum candy.
This is interesting.
Gum candy. These are gumdrops. Now, you can use the spice gumdrops, or you can use the dots, just any kind of gum candy. I've got 1 cup of gum candy, and actually what I've done is just took a pair of scissors, and I just cut them in half for that. So here we go. We're putting this in there.
And this the gum candy, as you guys know, it has like a little bit of a pepperminty type of flavor to it. So
Yep. Okay. Yes, Treva, you need to take a trip. Okay. Then we have 2 cups of white sugar. So we have this right here. Here's our sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. 2 cups of white sugar.
2 cups of lukewarm water.
Now we need 2 cups of lukewarm water. I'm going to go ahead and get that because I didn't want it to get cold. So hang on 1 sec.
So while Susan's getting that, I'll talk to you guys. Hi, Aunt Penny. Hi. Treva, hello. And Brenda, thank you guys for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. It's so good to see all of you, and for you to be tuning in as we're making this, you know, very traditional cake. Susan's right now getting our 2 cups of lukewarm water. And notice we're just kind of putting it all in here together in Mama's big green bowl. This is my mom's famous big green bowl. So, and so we're just kind of putting it all in there together. So she's back. She's got that lukewarm water in there.
Now what do we need?
You're going to need your 2 teaspoons of soda.
So we got 2. Now this is interesting.
Now we're doing a science experiment, okay?
Watch. Let me see if I can put you in front of the camera.
You're going to use 2 teaspoons of baking soda with 2 teaspoons of vinegar. And yes, it's going to bubble. That's what you want. So you're going to get the bubbling, and then you're going to put it in your bowl.
So here we go. Now this is where I told you they use coffee. Look at that bubble. This is what they use for their leveling. So instead of using baking soda and baking powder, of course they didn't have all of that. So cornstarch and things like that. So see, it bubbled. So I'm just going to mix this up a little bit. And we're just going to dump it in. Just like that. Okay. So what else do we need now?
And then you're going to add your 3
Let's go ahead and mix this real quick. I'm going to mix
3 large cups of flour.
Okay. I'm going to mix this just for a second. I think that's good. We're getting
Show them kind of what it looks like.
Okay. This is what it looks like. If you can see.
It looks kind of gross.
It does look gross. There's raw sausage in that.
Yes.
So now we have 3 cups of plain flour. And of course, you know we're like White Lily girls. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to add this in slowly. Because I don't want to wear the flour. So we'll just mix that up just a little bit. All right. And we're going to add just a little more flour. And this is 3 cups of plain flour. You notice, actually, you just wait. I'll tell you what, I'll see if you can figure out what's not in here.
I'm trying to see what Michael said. He said that
the town that I was born in,
Kirchner, Ontario,
Canada has lots of German people that live there.
She wants to make German sausage cake.
Yum!
Nice. Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
So you are familiar.
Yes.
So I've got my flour in here. So I'm going to go ahead and mix all this in right here. And I'm just using a hand mixer today. I'm not using a stand-up mixer today.
Hi,
Treva, you saw that. So far, there is no eggs in this recipe so far.
No eggs.
And there's other things that's not in this recipe that would make you go,
I know. No butter.
No butter. Okay, what else do we need?
And then you're going to use your 2 teaspoons of nutmeg and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon.
2 teaspoons of nutmeg and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon is right here. I'm wearing something. Okay. And then we're going to mix this in together.
Yes.
And what else?
And that's it.
That's it. That's it. This is the entire recipe.
And you got to think too, once Susan turns the mixer off here, we'll talk a little bit more. But you've got to, when you think back to this time period, so like the late 1800s, maybe even mid 1800s, if my grandfathers, or I should say my great grandmother made this recipe, you know, ingredients were expensive. And, you know, having farm fresh eggs all the time, you might have had some, you might not have. But it might not have been something you wanted to maybe waste in a cake, you know, so, and having butter and having fresh butter and that kind of thing. So if you think of ingredients that they would have had on hand, was probably coffee and flour and, you know, some sort of a candy and your basic spice like maybe your cinnamon or nutmeg. So would have been the traditional type of ingredients that they had on hand to cook with.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, there's gum candy, there's vinegar, there's plain flour, baking soda, regular sugar. You would think you would use brown sugar, but there is no butter. There are no eggs in here. There is no baking powder in here. So it's really a lot different. But we're going to go ahead, and this cake will bake, it says 2.5 hours. That was back in the day.
Yes.
This cake, I baked it last year for my dad, and it took about 1.5 hours on 350.
Yes.
So here is my mom's famous, now this thing's really old. You can tell it's really old. And we love to use things from Mom that are really old.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to put our cake mix in here. We're going to bake it at 350 for about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Watch it. Just check it, okay, on your 350 until your knife or your toothpick comes out clean. It is a really good cake. My dad really does love this cake. And we are so thankful that we're able to do things like this. And Mom left us the recipes, and Mom actually taught us to do things like this. So it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to Dad.
It's so important to keep traditions alive, and some people, my kid used to kind of balk at me a little bit because there's like, okay, Mom. But I love tradition, and tradition is so important. And I feel like today, so many kids are in front of video games, and they're sitting in front of the TV or their technology or their phone, and they're not getting in the kitchen with their mom, and they're not having these stories while they're baking together and sharing stories and learning about their history, through cooking or baking or making things. And it's so important that, you keep traditions alive. It was so fun. I don't know if you guys saw any of my pictures, but I had my grandbaby, Olivia, is not even 2 yet, and she was sitting on my island just the other day helping me make grape salad. And she was putting the grapes in, she was counting. And, I wasn't telling her stories, of course, because she's too little, but it's just having that time together and spending that time with one another. They're never too young.
Mm-mm.
And
you've seen pictures of my grandchildren sitting on my counter making brownies. Whenever they come to visit with me, we're always making something. We make something together because I want them to understand I made this, I'm eating this, and it all starts in the kitchen, and it all starts together as a family. So we're never ever too old or too young to start, actually.
Yes.
To start cooking in the kitchen. So this is what the cake is going to look like. This is, if you can see inside that. Daddy, come here and look. Come on.
So I'm going to put the phone down so you can see. Actually, I'm going to turn it around so you can see it here. There you go.
Okay.
So it's got like a pinky reddish hue because you got to understand it's got raw sausage in it. So, and this pan is greased. So it was greased ahead of time, and it's about that full. So if you don't have it, we call this a tube pan because,
I call it a bundt pan.
It's not a bundt pan because a bundt pan, Susan can call hers a butt pan. But it's not a bundt pan. A bundt pan has the like little swirlies and things in it. This is different. This is just like your traditional cake pan, but I'm sure a bundt pan would work just fine. So, but to just kind of show you what that looks like. So I'm going to put the phone back down. My daddy's back in here, eyeballing his cake. So here he is. So
come here, Dad. Come look at it. Come here and look at it.
Oh, that looks great, girl. That looks great.
Say hi.
It looks just exactly like my father-in-law would make it.
That's because we're awesome.
We are awesome. We're really awesome.
That's gonna be one great cake.
It will.
We love to go through Mom's recipes when we're here. We'll grab one of her cookbooks and we'll go digging through it. Not that we haven't been through them all already, but we it's almost like we've missed something. Yeah. And we'll look at something else and we'll be like, this is interesting. So, yes, that's what Jennifer called it, Allison. I call it a bundt pan. She calls it a tube pan. She said I could call mine a butt pan. So, either way.
All you ladies out there that does a lot of cooking, if you fix your husband one of these cakes right here, and when he gets a bite of that, and he'll reward you from now on.
Or he might run away. But hopefully not. Hopefully he'll at least try it.
All right, guys. We're going to bake this at 350 for about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Yes. Just watch it, maybe an hour and a half. But we hope that you've enjoyed the history of this sausage cake and the story that Dad told about it. So, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
You're done.
So from Easley, South Carolina, from
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
and from Casters, North Carolina, we wish you
Merry Christmas.
a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy
And
baking.
Happy baking. See y'all later.
We'll post a picture of it completed, y'all.
I like that too, Terry. I like the butt pan. That's right. I can call it what I want.
She's special.
I am. I'm gonna start calling it the butt pan.
That's fine.
That's good. I
She's
like
special.
that.
We all know that.
Whatever. Y'all can call it whatever you want, Pam. I'll call it what I want too. So, okay. We love y'all. Happy baking, and we'll
Bye.
see y'all soon.
Bye-bye.